Darei subito la parola a Maria Herczog, che è membro del Comitato ONU per i diritti dell'Infanzia, è ungherese, ha un master in economia, è membro del Comitato ONU per il monitoraggio della Convenzione dei Diritti dell'Infanzia, ha lavorato per il Consiglio d'Europa, l'UNICEF, l'OMS ed è in Eurochild, che è la principale rete europea per il benessere e i diritti dell'infanzia. Quindi, come dire, cominciamo subito con un punto di vista molto, molto generale sul problema. Quindi invito Maria Herczog a venire qua e a parlarci e a capire un attimo anche che cosa fa l'ONU, che noi consideriamo l'organismo, diciamo così, sovranazionale più importante di tutti per l'infanzia. Cosa fa l'ONU e come controlla che venga fatto. Qualche dettaglio tecnico e poi cominciamo.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. Buongiorno. Thank you for the kind introduction. Although I'm a PhD in sociology, I would be really in trouble if someone would make me accountable in economics. So I try not to do anything. Although I believe strongly in economic relations of the child rights issues as well. So I have different hats today here, and I would like to talk briefly about the implementation of the Convention on the Rights of the Child in the different countries, and also Eurochild's activities related to that. How can we strengthen the implementation at a European level, at both at EU level and both at our members' countries' level. No, someone, yeah. Actually, the committee, I don't know how much you know about the committee's work on the rights of the child. I very briefly tell you a number of details just to let those know who are not aware of it. The Convention on the Rights of the Child, after it was coming into operation in 1989, set up a committee, first of 10 people, then later on it was extended to 18 people, who are meeting 3 times a year in Geneva, and they are spending their months each time. And the first 3 weeks of this month is spent every day with a different country, member states of the CRC, who are coming to report to the committee based on their previously submitted reports. And the 4th week is spent with the NGOs from countries that are coming for the next session. And this is called pre-session, meaning that we are first meeting the NGOs from a given country, and we have a very active and alive dialogue with them. So they are informing us about all the key issues that they find relevant and important to tackle when the government delegates are arriving next time. During the state party dialogues, it is an open session, so anyone can come and join us. Many NGOs are sitting there as observers, although they have no right to speak at that time. And then, after we had a dialogue with the government, then we are producing our concluding observations. These are all on the net, sadly enough only in English, but I hope that this is also encouraging many of those interested in children's rights to study English or improve your English. This is really important nowadays. And then the concluding observations are partly serving as feedback to the governments, but also to the NGOs, researchers, all those stakeholders who have something to do with children's rights. And the idea is that these concluding observations, together with the reports, are helping the countries implementing better the Convention on the Rights of the Child in each and every country. Now, there are some problems we are facing as everyone, and it is not only due to the crisis. This has been an ongoing problem in the UN, the lack of resources. Primarily, we have no money and staff to do the monitoring of the implementation, and no follow-up mechanism has been built into this system. You can imagine that there are many treaty bodies. I mean, there is not only one committee that is responsible for implementing different areas of human rights. There is the CEDAW Committee for Women. There is now the Disability Committee against for the rights of disabled people. There is the Committee Against Torture and the others, and these are all the same. They are working in almost the same way. So there should be a better monitoring and follow-up system, but what we can rely on is that each in every country's system, NGOs and academia who can help us, and obviously we are utilizing the media in many ways, hopefully only in a positive way. There are several other documents the committee is producing besides the convention itself, which is a very comprehensive set of articles, and it could be and should be enough on the one hand, but on the other hand, we also know that 2 years passed since the acceptance of the convention, and many things have changed since then, but also we've learned a lot during the implementation of the CRC. So therefore, the committee is producing time to time so-called general comments, and these are sources of detailed information based on one given article. We've got 13 such general comments so far, and I would like to encourage everyone to find the time and energy to translate it into Italian. In Hungary, I have just convinced my PhD students actually to help us to do the translation into Hungarian, because most of our professionals and policymakers and administrators don't read English. So, and that is a very useful way of somehow facilitating the implementation. We've just had a new general comment, 13, on prevention of violence against children, of all forms of violence, and this is I'm really proud of it. I was the head of the steering group, so I feel that we've been working hard for 2 years to put together this general recommendation or general comment, and what I would really would love to see that every country, they are utilizing it, and they are also contributing in a way that they are sending us feedback on their opinion. However, during the preparation procedure, we've had regional consultations in all the regions of the world with the help of the Special Rapporteur of the UN Secretary General on violence against children, Santa Marta Santos Pais, who helped us to organize these regional consultations, including Europe, on the different issues related to violence of children in Europe. We are currently working on 2 general comments. One is one of the most striking articles, Article 3, on the best interest of the child. This is the article that has been, if I may say, mostly challenged during the 22 years, because for many politicians, policymakers, lawyers, or law professionals especially, it is hard to handle the best interest principle, because in many instances this means for people that children's rights are paramount. They are overriding any other right, and obviously this is a very complicated issue, and there are many conflicts of interests. You can imagine not only that best interest of the child can be in conflict with the parents or the school, but also when there are 2 children, let's say, or groups of children who are in conflicts, and it is hard to decide which is the best interest and what does it mean. So we are working on this best interest general comment, which will be quite a comprehensive one. The other one we are working on seems to be much easier. That's the right to health care. But again, when it comes to the details on whether universal or what kind of universal services should be provided to children and in what way, and what about those countries who cannot afford providing free health care, then it is becoming quite a complex issue. We every year try to organize a general day of discussion, and this is a day when the committee, together with other stakeholders, mostly universities, different international NGOs, is organizing a day of general discussion on a given topic. This year it was extremely successful. We attracted over 250 people, and the theme was children of incarcerated parents. And you would think that this is a very particular topic, because what we were talking about was children whose parents are in the prison system. But it turned out that there are over 2 million children attached in every moment of time. And what we've learned at the conference, and I was very shocked to learn, that in Chicago, for instance, alone, in a city, in an American city, there are 45,000 children every year whose parents are imprisoned. I don't know many other countries' details, because what also turned out from this conference, that most of the countries do not gather data, actually, on the children whose parents are in prison, and there are hardly any services provided for them. This means that we were not only talking about the prison system, but we were talking about detention, the ways parents are taken into custody, whether the children are present or not, whether there is a visitation right. What about those countries, in many countries, also in Europe, where the parents can take their small children into the prison system? What kind of conditions are provided for those babies, especially those born in the prison system and stay there for a couple of years? We've learned that parents can be easily blackmailed by the prison system to give evidence through their children, and many, many other complicated issues you would never think of if you are not learning more about this. There is also a new optional protocol on individual complaint mechanism on its way, and this is coming into operation next year. So from the 1st of January 2012, this will open up for the countries for ratification, and this means this is a huge step forward. That this means that individual children can submit a complaint to the Committee on the Rights of the Child when they have a specific problem. This is just like the European Court for Human Rights, that is making possible for children to submit a complaint. Obviously, this is again a very, very complex problem, because when it comes to adults, it seems to be quite easy that they make a decision and they are submitting a complaint. But when it comes to children, this is much more complicated, as children are mostly not in a position to do so. So the question was for the UN and also for many member states, how can we do that? So what are we doing? Can NGOs, for instance, or experts or parents represent children? Is it only for individual children, or can it be a certain group of children like Roma children in Italy who are here from different Eastern European countries? Can we submit a complaint on their behalf? Or should it be a given child, a concrete child, to do so? Now, when it comes to Europe, and I would like to go back for a second to the general implementation of the CRC. One thing we have to take into consideration is that countries are very, very different, and also in different times they have very different opportunities for the implementation, let alone thinking of the crisis. We know that because of the budget cuts on social expenditure, education, this is becoming really a harsh issue everywhere. But at the same time, there are several things every country should do, even in the time of crisis, like providing good quality participation for children, awareness raising, education on human rights, listening to their views, and so on. So the crisis, or any crisis situation, even a war situation, is not an excuse for not implementing children's rights to a certain extent, the best possible way, obviously. Now, coming back to Europe, in Europe, there is a very important help for us, although it's not only open for Europe. That's the CRC NGO group, that is supporting the different NGOs all over the world, but obviously they are, it is easier access for the European NGOs as they are based in Geneva. And they are helping to produce the shadow report for the NGOs, and they are also organizing a lot of events and opportunities for the NGOs to learn more about the implementation and follow-up mechanism of the CRC. Participation of the children is becoming more and more important. This means that we are meeting more and more children at the committee, so more and more NGOs are bringing children to their meetings, but also we get a lot of very valuable messages from children, like we get DVDs, drawings, even in some countries, like in the Netherlands or in Wales, the young people organize themselves a survey among other children, so they were asking their peers how do they feel that the implementation of the CRC or their rights are implemented properly. And these are extremely important information, and it's not just tokenism, as it is becoming quite widespread. Also, as you know, one of your supporters is CREEN. CREEN is an excellent information source. They are an organization on the web, and they are providing all kind of information related to child rights. So I would encourage you to look at their website if you are interested in child rights. Also, there are many international NGOs like Save the Children and others who are, not mentioning obviously UNICEF, that are promoting children's rights, and they are helping the implementation through their research, through their publications, through their surveys and different programs in the European countries. The Council of Europe is an excellent source of help and support. They have just launched last week in Monaco their new child rights strategy for the year 2012 and 2015, meaning that they are focusing on child rights. And one of the NGO requirements, because NGOs had a special meeting with the Council of Europe on Monday last week, just a week ago, and what we were asking the Council of Europe was a better utilization of the CRC state party reports, alternative reports, and the concluding observations, because if you look at it, it seems to be very efficient and logical. All the 47 members of the Council of Europe ratified the convention, so there is no reason why wouldn't they utilize all these free and accessible materials. The only question again is the translation. In most of the Council of Europe countries, there is no translation of the Council of Europe recommendations and materials. However, they are very high quality. They were put together by the best experts of Europe, and they should be utilized. And I would like to encourage you to do so. I do the same in Hungary, because I feel that we can use it even at the university level as a resource material. They are excellent resources and very good methodology papers. Like the last one we were using now was sexual abuse in institutions of children. Not all the countries in Europe can have such a report, and this was gathering all the information available at European level. Also, most of you probably are aware of the fact that the EU was issuing a communication on the agenda on the rights of the child on the 15th of February this year. Compared to our expectations, this is a very low-profile document, and we are a bit disappointed, both at Eurochild and CRC level, if I may say, or committee level, because we were expecting a very strong commitment on behalf of the European Union as far as child rights are concerned, primarily because all the 27 member states, again, ratified the convention, so we couldn't understand why the EU was not sticking itself to make the Convention on the Rights of the Child a framework for Europe, at least because they ratified the Convention on Disability. Now, there are some legal issues, we know, but still we don't see any serious objection not to do so. So NGOs, including Eurochild, are working very hard on convincing the Commission, and not first of all the Commission, but the member states rather, to see the Convention on the Rights of the Child as a baseline for policies all over Europe. Very briefly about Eurochild activities concerning child rights. Eurochild is a member of the mentioned CRC NGO group, so we hope that we can influence the policies and practices of the NGO group, and through them we can also reach all the European countries, not only our member countries. Also, we have become, and we are a founding member of the Children's Rights Action Group called CREG, which is an informal grouping of NGOs who have committed to work together on the follow-up and implementation of the communication. And obviously this means that we are also working on the implementation of the CRC throughout Europe, not only in the European Union. We have also been part of the preparation of European forums on children's rights. I don't know whether you are aware of it or not, but we've just had last week, no, it was on the 23rd of November, there was the 6th European Forum on Children's Rights. This is a one-day consultation organized by the DG Justice. This is the Ministry of Justice in the EU. And they are gathering all the stakeholders, many NGOs, many experts, and not enough politicians, of course, and MEPs, because they are not so excited about children's rights, but we try hard. Also, Eurochild is issuing a lot of comments, reports, policy papers, and we are taking part regularly on consultations regarding EU activities related to child rights. And currently, we are also involved in a project in 5 countries called Speak Up, when we are asking children about their awareness of their rights in the different countries. And we are using focus group meetings with different groups of kids so that we learn not only the opinion of the mainstream children, but we are also looking at children who have hearing impairments, who are refugees, who had conflicts with the law, or who are living in the care system. Eurochild has got 4 different thematic working groups that are working according to the CRC and aiming the fullest possible implementation of the CRC. And the thematic working groups are working on early childhood education and care, which is one of the big priorities in Europe for the time being, with good reasons, because that's the best possible prevention of later problems, and it's a good early intervention opportunity. Also, children in alternative care who need their rights needs to be strengthened in all ways. Family and parenting support, because Eurochild very strongly believes that parents need much more support and knowledge base as they have today. And also child and youth participation, because if we want to live in a better world and we want a successful Europe, then we need very conscious, very knowledgeable young people who are aware of their rights and who are practicing their rights throughout their active citizenship. If we want them to become active citizens as adults, then we obviously have to start very early, and we have to encourage them to express their opinions. Our own activities in Eurochild are all related to child poverty, social exclusion, because this is one of the most striking issues in Europe, as you all know, and they are all rights-based in their approach. Thank you very much for your attention.